I'm a consulting engineer, and presently I am the chairman of the State Expert Appraisal Committee of the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change. I have been given to speak on engineering solutions to lake rejuvenation efforts. While we have spoken already, we have heard people speak on engineering aspects. We have talked about soils, we have talked about soil slope stabilities, we have talked about chemical contents, BODs, CODs. What I would like to also keep you all informed is this lake rejuvenation in Goa involves a lot of government initiatives, like Mission Amrit Sarovar and the Goa State Wetland Authority, along with the community efforts, which I include these various lakes that are being, rejuvenated. Now there's a government and authority-led initiatives led by the Goa State Wetland Authority, which oversees water body restoration projects, including identification and notifications of wetlands. The Mission Amrit Sarovar is a national mission which aims to develop and rejuvenate water bodies in districts and water bodies in states. There's the National Census of Water Bodies. The Ministry of Jal Shakti is conducting such a census. And we have our own National Institute of Oceanography, which is involved in the ground truthing and sampling of identified water bodies and support restoration efforts. There have been a lot of community efforts also and success stories involving the community of Santa Cruz and the local biodiversity management committees, which help in upkeep or rather act as watchdogs and help in restoration of lakes. A notable lake that in Goa that we have under is Sansan Convention is the lake called Nanda Lake in Punha, which most of the speakers have forgotten to note. Actually, the Ramsar Convention lake is the only lake in Goa which is under Ramsar Convention in Goa. Every lake has its own biodiversity around it. And what I would like to, one more thing is, this water being a state subject, the state government, including with the help of central government, is also having a lot of programs under MNREGS, this Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Scheme, Jal Shakti Abhiyans, Mission Amrit Sarovar I have already spoken about. So these are the various bodies under which this restoration takes place. Now regarding the engineering part of it, I will not go into definitions of what are lakes. We already know this and we have already been spoken. Functions of lakes, degradation of lakes, I think this subject also has been taken. Restoration methods of lakes. But basically what we would like to speak from engineering point of view are the two approaches. One is direct and one is indirect. The direct approach will be a preventive approach. An indirect approach will be help to, I will say, ameliorative approach. So direct approaches, indirect approaches, I think we have all spoken now. Technically we have spoken. But at the level of our villages, what is required, I think some speakers spoke, I don't know if Dr. Jain spoke about creating, artificial wetlands. So that is one of the way which can be done. Grassing can be done. Terrace farming can be done. So these are some of the indirect ways of doing action. Some actions can be done in the lake and some actions can be done outside the lake. What I'm talking is outside the lake. So dam, dams, check the biodiversity, check stability of slopes for distinct holding of water. And there has been some thing that I have brought here, which can be the direct thing. Also have a legal control measures which have not been there. The legal control measures can involve some political jurisdictions which can actually prevent such nutrients and restrict the use of such lakes and basically help in diversion of waste. And in the biological side and chemical side, I will not speak because those matters I think have already been spoken. And something of biodiversity is very important. And I feel that our level at Goa is that there are various village biodiversity committees at every village levels. These committees should take at Gram Sabhas should take up the points and identify their own lakes, their own water, and check what is the biodiversity, what makes it impure, what are the waste that are being discharged, and look at the hydrology of the place, coordinate with the government departments, coordinate with WRD departments, and hence come to some solution instead of being cynical. Somebody said cynical. So that's my thing. Okay, thank you.
So, Goa is one of the few states in the country, probably the only one where all the biodiversity management committees across the state have done their people's biodiversity registers. That is what the Act lays out, that every panchayat across the country is required to have a biodiversity management committee, which is coterminous with the panchayat. It is elected every time the panchayat is elected. And their primary mandate is to create people's biodiversity registers. Across the country, I don't think there's any state where all panchayats have actually created PBRs except Goa. So, Goa has, exactly. Except Goa, there is no other state in which that has been done. So, but what I would like to then extend your point further and say that if we have such active and capacitated members that are doing this job, can they become the custodians of the lake effort as well? Because it's instead of trying to recruit additional people around this cause, we have people that are tangentially at least related to this. Can we capacitate them further to be custodians of the water body?
Their respective places. And most of us, I think, Goans live very close to some water body or the other. Akudas, I remember, just to teach my children what water is about, I made them have bath near the well. Hopefully our well was getting, and they found that well quality water was so good. Then rather than the pool quality or water quality in the government supply systems. So that's how you can be in touch with the thing. Thank you very much for your intervention.
Yeah, I mean, I want to stress some more on the changes that are happening and how fast they are happening, and how little we can control in some ways, because there are global drivers which are changing the amount of rain, the rate of rain, the conservation intensity, frequency, scale. So we have to keep that in mind. So biodiversity is not something stationary, always changes. So we have to put some effort into what may happen in this region in the next 10 years, 20 years, and plan accordingly. So some things are no regret decisions like forestation or wetlands, nature solutions, reducing pollution, reducing deforestation and so on. But no matter what we do, there will be some things that will hit the system so hard that we must have some idea of what they could be. The way winds are shifting right now, for example, from Gujarat, Punjab, Rajasthan into Himalayan foothills, rainfall is increasing and Kerala is decreasing. But again, as I said before, the amount of rain is almost immaterial because how it rains is become much more important. So we have to, I think, have a group or subgroup which will really focus very hard on what may be changing in the next coming years and couple of decades.
Also, adding to what you said, I mean, it is heartening to know what Goa has been able to do and the clear path forward, how things should be done. I think there is a need to take Indian-centric model development seriously. To make it more specific, Goa-specific model development more seriously. Right now, there has been a practice that many of these models, be it hydrological models, hydrodynamical model, human, urban, hydrological interaction models are developed in Americas and the Europes. We bring them, we apply them, expect them to work, and they would not give us right answers when we expect them to write answers, and rightly so. They were not developed to account for the heterogeneities that we have in our areas. And I think the way forward, the first way forward, I would go if I have to do this particular project in whatever capacity, individual, scientific, as a group, is to get back to the pen and paper and write down what is needed for this modeling framework to include based on the experiences, based on the recommendations. Second thing is that we have long list of engineering interventions like artificial wetlands or what we call as green solutions. However, tinkering them multiple times is a costly affair, and perhaps no stakeholder would like to give us money to do infinite trials before we reach for one success. And that is where we need to enable these models to do what if scenario analysis for us, that what if this is done, how the first estimate of models are going to look like. Another thing is that whenever we do modeling exercise, we are primarily looking in rear view mirror and expecting future would be right, because we get exhausted while calibrating our models to get something right in the past without making them generalizable for future. And that would also happen if we are not mindful of those particular errors. And then, as Raghu rightly said, that we have to understand that how these systems are going to behave under extreme stresses. We may not be able to precisely tell that when these extreme stresses are going to occur, but if they happen, which particular systems are going to hold their integrity, which particular systems are going to lose part of it, and which systems are going to get even stronger when these events pass, what we also call it as anti-fragility. And I think given that Goa has a size which is manageable in terms of the land area, whatever we do could become a national hallmark that how water resources have to be managed across the nation and of course by extension subcontinent.
Thank you. In continuation to what the speakers have spoken. Oh, sorry. Let me introduce myself first. I am Dr. Mohan Gira, representing State Pollution Control Board Goa, and officiate here as scientist in the lab section. I am basically a geologist, and I am happy to tell you that I have worked for my research in the lacustrine sediment very much in Goa. You must have heard of Mayam Lake. My research is on Mayam Lake. Mayam Lake, this is in Picholik. So in continuation to what Madam said, and with the geological context, when it comes to, since it's pollution control board, I have referred to the pollution levels. What is important is a lake body as such and its watershed. To treat the lake water, we have to first treat the watershed. So what is important is point source and multiple sources. Now we have heard since morning, right from Honorable CM and the Chief Guest, panelists here, we have come to know that in the state of Goa, I think we have come to a stage where we have to involve public participatory approach. Because as far as Goa is concerned, Water Resource Department is the custodian of water resources. As of today, they have documented about 389 water bodies. Further water bodies have been classified into lakes. The lakes becomes wetland if they comply with certain provision of wetlands. These wetlands become Ramsar site if they comply with the Ramsar site protocol. In all of this context, Goa is having all water bodies, lakes, wetlands, as well as Ramsar site. So what is important is WRD has documented. Our partner GSPB, as Goa State Board, has notified and published as on date 25 wetlands. So under the regime of international regime, it has already been protected. And the third, we being Goa State Pollution Control Board monitors on monthly basis 30 water bodies, including these 25 water bodies which are been notified. So what is now important? Each one has done their job. WRD custodian, they have documented. GSPB legalized. GSPCB monitoring. Now what we require, we should go to each of these villages where these lakes are, take people into confidence. Yes, BMC is there, but all these departments should come together and come out with some action plan towards rejuvenation. That's what Dr. Kale has said. I think that's the call for today.
Yeah, thank you. I am Dr. A.K. Saran, and I work very closely on this. I am an ocean scientist though, but I work very closely on societal issues as well. Now, coming to the issue of regeneration of land, I am from Old Goa, Karamboli, as you see. And the basic importance, what we say is that we in our panchayat have a biodiversity register. And we have taken up, we have published and sent it to the authorities as well. And we have seen that how to make the livelihood those people are thriving on some of the local produce within that has reflected many things right from their ancient times to here. And especially with the adjoining the lake, as you see Karmali village, and it was shown in the skit of the children as well. So if you look at the technicalities of it, what is most important for us is the historical setup of a given lake, which is different from other, one cannot compare. And our WRD as well as GPSP has already indicated that we have that in the party that so many lakes are very important. What we need to say is that design, when we take an experiment into the lake, has to be different. And now considering to the model, the local model is more prevalent rather than any other model which is set up anywhere in India. It has to be a local model. So local model inputs have to come from the respective domain of the fields of regeneration of a lake. So what are those different fields? We know very well. So I would like to supplement that unless and until we make the citizen-centric model, incorporate them within that, and then do the regeneration plan, it may not succeed, right? So this is where the integrity of all the department, state as well as center plays an important role. Apart from what Dr. Raghu has said, is that climatic state may not have control. So climatic changes or weather changes, as you say, which might affect the lake, has to be done on a regional scale or on the national scale. So that is what I would like to add.
So maybe then as a way forward, may I suggest that we create working groups. Basically, we have multiple things that need to get done, right? So maybe creating working groups around hydrology and climate modeling, one working group around community mobilization, and getting that entire cascade of community involvement in, and one working group on solutions documentation. What are the possible solutions? And this group would be, looking at what in each of the lakes or the water bodies that we identify, what can work. Maybe we split into these three working groups so that all of us can come with our own expertise into whatever applies, and then we can create these working papers and move forward along that plan. Just a suggestion, of course, with these three, we can figure out what the three should be. Just from the discussion, what I'm hearing organically is that climate and hydrology modeling, it certainly wouldn't be the same people that are into community mobilization, right? Community mobilization would be the same people that are into engineering solutions for water bodies. So I feel like these are the three organic groups that we can create out of this center.
Yes, modular approach is fine, but at the same point of time, we should have to devise some kind of communication protocol so as to synthesize all the work that has been done by all the three groups. Second thing is, if we want to do in expeditious way, so as to showcase before the society that yes, this Herculean task is doable, and then too in a record break time, then we can do one thing. We can prepare a proper activity flowchart beforehand, so that everything goes ahead in a structured manner. Otherwise, it will be an open-end exercise, and everybody will be having his own fancies. So we need to control the fancies. When so many people come together, my experience in the government says that when we meet so many people together, then the fancies will be killing the project. So we won't allow them. So let us find some kind of a boundary condition definition beforehand. That is my submission number 2. And number 3, in case we are really focused, then instead of talking any kind of the philosophy, we should focus on 2 or 3 water bodies which are our target water bodies, and we should work on 3 out of 39. Then we can expand to say further 6 or 7 to make it 10. And our learning experience will teach us a lot. And that is how we shall be correcting ourselves while scaling up the project. So let us begin from something at a workable scale. That is my submission. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to compliment what Vivek sir said. So it's true that we have so many lakes. Probably we have to identify the most important ones, maybe in top of the priority list, and prepare some kind of flow chart or some kind of a way or pathway, let's say, by which we can implement the kind of thing that we want to do on a particular lake. I think here there are 3 or 4 different phases. The first part is, of course, understanding the spatio-temporal variations in the lake. For example, we have selected the 3 lakes in the case study. We have to understand the spatio-temporal variations. So, of course, data is the number one thing. And since Sir said that a lot of water quality related data, water quantity related data is already available in different organizations, I think that is how it is going to be helping us very much in solidifying our framework. Second part, of course, is the modeling part. Here probably, as Udit said, that we have to create some kind of local scale model where we understand the local scale phenomenon, all other factors which may vary from place to place. Here probably we might also look at the causal analysis. There are human factors, there are also climatic factors, but how exactly are they linking together of impacting the lake quality and quantity? That probably we can create some kind of causal framework analysis. And yeah, towards the last probably I'm not very sure, but if we can create some kind of tier-based ranking. Of course, we have so many lakes, but probably if we can create some kind of tool based on all of these parameters and create some kind of ranking, probably that will give a very much qualitative idea, very much immediate impression to the stakeholders that at what state are they being rejuvenated in the long run. So that's what I just wanted to make a point.
Since we have a data at the state level for 3 different departments, we'll prioritize it. What is important to be addressed first, depending on the utility, the coverage, and the extent of pollution or contamination, if any. So that can be a basic criteria to prioritize that, basis on North Goa's output. I'm talking from the state of Goa only.
Mohan sir, can
Yes.
you also think of incorporating what we can? What we must do is look at the most polluted or the one that where there is most. Can we also look at parameters that will make it easy or difficult to work on a particular lake? For instance, whether it is hydrologically feasible for immediate intervention, whether the community is ready for an image. So maybe the rating that you're talking about can incorporate the data around the water quality and water quantity and where it is and the uses of the water, but also qualitative factors on how easy would it be to intervene. Because where the need is the most and the intervention is the easiest, that is the low-hanging fruit.
So,
We have
then,
to start
so
there.
instead of going to very easy, because all the village panchayat have BMCs.
Right.
So we'll have
Exactly.
a discussion with BMC.
Exactly.
They have the local knowledge. They have the yes or no advantage, disadvantage.
Correct.
So we'll talk to them. Based on their understanding, we'll definitely prioritize it.
Exactly. So, and then we can identify maybe 3 as you suggest. That are the lowest hanging fruits, the easiest to intervene for, where we actually start seeing results. The moment we start seeing results, there is more, there's more that we can do in the next phase, in the phase after that.
Winning the confidence.
Exactly.
Actually, winning the confidence of the people as well as the policy makers and decision makers who are really, worrying about the entire large-scale scenario is the most important thing. Mostly it happens that, the 2 girls that asked us, very pokey questions, the paradoxy. The same kind of paradoxy is at all the levels, not only at the young student level, but that prevails at the professor's level, at the decision-making level, at the political level, that, everywhere it is all, talking tall, and on the ground, there is nothing zeroing down. So that should not happen. Winning the confidence at all the levels is the first thing that we should do at the project level. That is what I have experienced.
Yeah, that's what I said. We should have bottom to top approach.
I think we are maybe dancing around a little bit on, because I don't know who is actually in the decision-making process. If CM says this is the most touristically attractive one, we better do this one, then we don't have to worry about whether it's the easiest to or hardest to. We just say what will be needed and what needs to be done and what resources it will take to do it. So prioritizing may happen by many ways, in many ways. And in terms of winning confidence, I'm always worried when bunch of scientists are sitting around and trying to solve essentially a heavy social problem. So are there any social scientists involved at any level?
Social scientists.
Wow, I mean, we all pretend to be one, but sorry.
No, but I'm
We
the
mean
second.
real social scientists who will, for example, is there anything that's culturally important in terms of lakes? Plus, talk about panchayats and so on, we cannot go there and saying we have come with solutions. My experience in working with farmers for a long time is there is no blueprint for anything. You have to go and build a trust. So is there anybody in the group here or additional people who will join who has that kind of local connection? So we need community workers or social scientists who are real. Yeah, so I think the prioritization is happening. We don't have to worry about too many things because we have to establish some kind of a baseline of if there are however many 39 lakes. Haven't seen a baselines of areas, rainfalls, coverage, what kind of vegetation it is. So it's there, but we haven't been provided yet. So we have to look at it as a group also to start discussing some of the details.
I just wanted to understand at the end of the day, I could not get any specific condition which is different in Goa compared to the lakes and in the other places. So is there something which I have missed? Other than what you said that Goa has already done so much about the data and all, is there any physical differences in the conditions in which the Goa lake is, any additional factor which needs to be considered compared to the lakes elsewhere? That's one thing. I agree with your suggestion about the 3 working group, but if these 3 working group focus on only 2 or 3 lake levels was suggested.
Statewide. My vision is for the working groups to look at across the state.
No, that's fine, but first concentrate on these 3 cases and later probably can we see whether they are applicable to other cases. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let me go point by point raised by the committee, which they are expecting what kind of discussion we can have. Coming to the first point, scientific diagnosis and prioritization of lakes. Of course, we are having a lot of data, but I doubt very much whether we are having biological data on the freshwater bodies, because physical and chemical analysis is generally done, and it's very easy. You get the testing kits also to the, physico-chemical parameters, you get testing kits, but that is required. But here, when you talk about the biological analysis is also very much important, because some of the biological indicators can be bioindicators. Rather than doing physics, chemical, you can take the example of biological indicators you can do. And when you talk about scientific diagnosis, we must also assess the TSI, WQI are the most important thing. That is trophic index is there, as well as water quality index we can think of. And biological integrity index is one more very important as far as the assessment of the scientific diagnosis is concerned. Coming to second point, what sir has sent email to me, eco-hydrological restoration techniques, particularly they are talking about the techniques. Restoration of natural hydrology, whether we are having the natural bodies, we are targeting solid,
When you talk about the ecological restoration, it can be revegetation, habitat restoration, or in-stream restoration is possible. You can think of on those lines. They are the ecological restoration, or it may be second, it can be eco-hydrological techniques, what we use, particularly eco-filtration. If the water body is small one, you can go for the eco-filtration. If the body is large one, you cannot do that. And riparian restoration is very important to provide the habitat for the living organisms in any freshwater body. To maintain the health of the freshwater body, eco-restoration is very important there. And of course, as all of you are aware, these freshwater bodies will help us to improve the groundwater recharge. That's very important here. Though I'm aware that we are talking about less than 1% of the total water what we are having in this planet. Benefits are by doing such kind of activities, you get improved water quality, first and foremost you get the thing, and also enhanced biodiversity. This will keep the water bodies healthy, and also it increases the ecosystem resilience, and in total it can help the human well-being. It can help.